Next up is To Kill a Mockingbird, which the play is based on a novel written by Harper Lee, which was published in 1960. It became a classic of modern American literature and won the Pulitzer Prize. This was one of those books that was assigned reading back in school, back in, I want to say junior high. I think high school, but for some reason I remember it from junior high. And although it was assigned reading, I sadly did not read it. I always made it through most of school, high school in particular, by doing good on tests, or most tests, not all, like without studying or studying very little, not doing much homework, and definitely not doing like assigned readings. And when it came to like writing papers and stuff like that, I would, get cliff notes and shit like that, which I definitely regret because I missed out on amazing books like this one. But in retrospect, I don't think I would have appreciated it as much as I appreciated the play now as an adult with some life experience under my belt. And I definitely do need to check out the actual book and read it. Now, what I did remember from the book and, reading it in class and stuff like that, or people reading it in class, is they said the word nigger a lot. And I wasn't sure how that would be addressed in the play. I honestly didn't think it was going to be said, but I was curious to see like how they would like skirt around it, or maybe just say the N-word or make up another word and imply that it meant like the N-word. But they just went balls to the wall, true to the novel, and said the word nigger a lot. Like an uncomfortable amount. Like a Quentin Tarantino amount. Now let me stop. It wasn't that much. But it definitely helped in setting the stage and bringing you into the story that takes place in the Deep South during the Great Depression. Now, I always remember the name Boo Radley, which is a character from the story. And for some reason, I thought that the novel was written from the perspective of Boo Radley. But after looking it up, it wasn't. It was told from the perspective of Jean Louise Finch, which was a 6-year-old girl in the story and neighbor of Boo Radley. So the story is about racial injustice. It's about the Deep South. It's about gender roles and class and courage and compassion, racism, the legal system. And the play was adapted and from the novel, obviously, and written by my favorite dialogue writer, Aaron Sorkin. And Aaron Sorkin has written movies like A Few Good Men, Moneyball, the show Newsroom, which was amazing. It was a short-lived 3 seasons, and Aaron Sorkin chose to step away from it at the 3-season mark because he felt that that's what he set out to write and that's what he wrote, even though the show's popular and I believe HBO offered him, more seasons, more money, stuff like that. But he was true to his vision for that story. The Social Network movie, the Facebook movie, which in my opinion has one of the greatest opening dialogue scenes of any movie. Oh, and going back to Newsroom, it stars Jeff Daniels as a news anchor of a newsroom. And Jeff Daniels plays one of the main protagonists of the story, Atticus Finch, which was so cool to see. Like Jeff Daniels, like in person. And so the story is about this widowed middle-aged lawyer, Atticus Finch, played by Jeff Daniels, who is appointed by the town judge to defend a black man that is on trial. And his name is Tom Robinson, by the way, in the story. And he's played, and I didn't notice this until my brother told me and pointed it out afterwards. And then I was like, oh yeah, it was that dude. Shout out to my brother, by the way. He hooked me up with these tickets to Kill A Mockingbird as a birthday gift this year. and it's definitely much appreciated. Anyway, Tom Robinson, which was the guy that's on trial, was played by, I'm going to fuck up his name, Jibenga Akinagbe, which played Chris Partlow from The Wire, which was, remember the girl Snoop? And she was always with this other guy. That was him. And they were the like right hand man and woman for Marlo Stanfield, I think it was his name, which was like the drug dealer that started like taking over everything. Check out The Wire, by the way, folks. If you haven't, please do. It's one of the greatest TV shows in history. It's definitely like my number 1 or 2. All right. Anyway, so Tom Robinson is on trial for allegedly raping and beating up a white girl. Again, in the Deep South, in the 1930s. And Jeff Daniels is not a racist person, and he reluctantly takes the case based on like his own admitted like experience with this type of, like he's never done like a murder trial, or he's done 2 but lost both, but he's not like that. That's not like his normal practice or something like that. But he's actually depicted in as doing a great job as legal counsel for Tom Robinson, and even winds up pointing out and highlighting the fact and making it known that the girl was like being sexually abused by her father, which happens to be like a racist like bigot in the town. But the jury, even though they had zero physical evidence, 0 witnesses, the jury winds up coming back with a guilty verdict. And then supposedly, while Tom Robinson is being like transported to prison, he winds up attempting an escape and running away, and he winds up getting shot and killed by the cops. And that is, in a nutshell, what happens in the play through the climax. And then thereafter, this like pedophile child abuser guy, drunk, who is abusing his own daughter, now has it out for Atticus Finch and like his family, and he was like kind of like harassing them just for him even taking the case and like outing the guy. He winds up attacking Atticus Finch's kids one day, which is again like a 6 or 8 year old girl and a bit older son. And the son gets like knocked out, and the girl, she like can't see because she has like some like school costume or some shit, like covering her eyes, and doesn't know what happened. But it winds up that the attacker, the guy, the alcoholic pedophile guy, winds up dying of a knife in his chest. And it comes to light that this next door neighbor kid, Boo Radley, which is a bit of a recluse, and they explain that he like hurt somebody or something like that with a knife like many years back, and his parents like shipped him off to like boarding school, and then when he came back they just had him like in the house and never let him out type of thing, so nobody ever saw him. But it was like the talk of the town for those like kids that lived in the neighborhood. Like they always wanted to see what Boo Radley looked like and stuff like that. So it comes to light that Boo Radley wound up like stabbing and killing the guy. And the like sheriff and the judge of the town, which all like respected the attorney, and they weren't like racist guys either. They, even though Atticus Finch, thought that, they should let the legal system play out and his son would have to testify on what he saw and his involvement and all this stuff, like the sheriff and the judge like both agreed that the guy, the scumbag piece of shit guy that everybody knew now, what he was, quote unquote, fell on top of his own knife and died. So it was something that was kind of sort of like legally wrong, but morally felt right. Like this guy kind of got what he had coming to him type of thing. But the scene is also a testament to how, by the letter of the law, Atticus Finch was as an attorney, or kind of like as a person, like his outlook on things. I took that away from it. And I don't know, again, I didn't read the book, so I don't know how much of it is like word for word in the play. But I can say that Aaron Sorkin is still genius in how the play was put together. Like I read like the plot afterwards. I read like the plot of the novel online, and you could tell that it was tastefully done. Like there weren't like any beats missing from it that I noticed, at least, you know, from reading a synopsis of the plot online and speaking to this guy that was sitting next to us that was telling me, asking me like if I read the book or if I liked the book better than the play. And I told him, you know, me and my wife, neither one of us has read it. And he was saying that we definitely have to read it, but that the play is definitely up there. So even he came off as, you know, it being like very comparable and similar. Again, I love things that are narrated, and it was narrated by Atticus Finch's daughter and son and friend Dill, that was like a summer friend. Like he came from out of town or something, like every summer, and stayed there for the summer for like 2 summers in a row. And they became like good friends. So yeah, it was pretty dope play. I definitely recommend you guys checking it out.